Hi, everyone. All right. Thanks, Nick. I'm Mike. I'm an alcoholic, and it's great to be here. Thanks a lot for asking me to speak tonight, Nick. And welcome to everybody who's new. It's really cool to hear all the names and see all the names in the chat. Everybody new tonight, and then um, yeah, just I'm stoked to be here and to be able to share with you my experience, strength, and hope, and um, yeah, a little bit of about like a little bit of, I guess, flair about me that you might not know that I don't share too often in this meeting. But I have been coming here a while. Um, so yeah, I also want to say it's very important. Happy birthday and welcome to the people who are new at counting days, and happy birthday to the birthdays. It's just awesome how this meeting has so many birthdays. And um, let's see, it's just really important, to celebrate that and to think about it. And I don't know if I would have, if it was just up to me, but it's something we do here. It's something we do in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I think it helps a lot to do that. So, and so does my sponsor and his sponsor. Uh, that's who I really heard preach about that first, was my sponsor's sponsor. Um, so yeah, I'm stoked to be here. I want to share a little bit about what it was like for me. I grew up in St. Louis mostly. I was born in Chicago, moved to St. Louis, Missouri when I was 12, and uh, you know, I it took me a little while. I don't know if I'm a late bloomer around here. Maybe I didn't get to my first drink till I was 16, but I had every opportunity to have, like to stay on the path that was laid out for me, do well in school. And I did pretty well in school for the most part until the end of until the end of my drinking. And that's I started to have some trouble, but mostly I was like a straight A student. And then I had great family. That was just really loving and caring. And um, we had our issues, but like it was it wasn't like I was exposed to alcohol all the time or anything like that. I was interested any chance I got. uh, when I was probably starting when I was like a teenager. I just I just was into the whole idea of drinking. So yeah, I had my first drink when I was 16. I I did the old like sneak the bottle out of the liquor cabinet and bring it to a friend's house, and we just drank shots of this anise flavored. I don't know what kind of liquor it was, but with a chaser, and got drunk, and it was amazing. I fell in love my first time, and I don't know how to describe that too well, but I'm sure everyone remembers their first drink, and it it was um, everything I had hoped it would be. A few weeks before that, I tried chewing tobacco for the first time. It was like the opposite experience of that. Like that didn't go very well, and I think everybody was sick that did it. But like with the drinking thing, it was like, this is amazing. Like I never uh, could have hoped for it to be that good. You know, I was just doing it because I thought it would be cool. But I mean, yeah. So after that, though, it wasn't too long before I started having problems. Like it's funny how quickly, uh, but those problems, like I didn't think of as a really big deal. I got in trouble making a mess, throwing up at my friend's house the next time I did it, and then not telling him, and then his parents found it, and he got in trouble, and just stupid problems like that right off the bat. And so I didn't really I don't know, I didn't really have to start my drinking career off as like as an expert. I didn't have anybody's footsteps I was following, and you know what I mean, no mentors or anything like that. But it really, as soon as I had that first drink, then I was really going for it anytime I could. And so if there was like an open bar at a wedding, or, just anywhere where I could sneak drinks, I would. Parties when I was in high school, or, you know, I wasn't too good at buying alcohol or anything like that till I went away to college, and I got into some other stuff pretty quickly too, other recreational drugs and things like that. So I basically didn't last very long in my drinking career. And so it's not the worst thing, really. I mean, I just I I think after a few years, that's all I was worried about, though, is taking care of what I needed to with school and stuff. But um, really, I had in the back of my mind, when am I going to get my next drink? When am I going to, do whatever else I can to feel good? And so I went away to school, and that was great. And I had the freedom to try new things like beer bongs and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess I worked through any humiliating experiences I had there by just getting really drunk a lot. And I I didn't want to mess up how I was doing in school, so I did moderate or manage my drinking as best as I could. And I would do tests, to see like, all right, if I stay clean for like, until this, I would set like an arbitrary date, like a concert. One time I did, I, as like my goal, if I can make it to the concert, then I then I didn't have a problem. And so I did stuff like that, or, just a lot of times I would compare myself to other people, who had it worse, who like ended up in jail or got busted, or uh, flunked out of school. And if I wasn't doing as bad as they were, then I figured I could keep doing what I was doing. So yeah, I mean, I guess I told you about my first drink. My last drink was in 1996, and I flunked out of school. So there I went down really fast. Like once I hit bottom, I pretty much stayed there, and had to had to retreat from what I was doing at college, and asked my family to help me. And I had a pretty miserable summer in 96. And then I did a bunch of things that I really regretted. And I don't want to get into the details right now. Probably not appropriate, but like, if you have uh, skeletons in your closet, you're not alone. Like this, pretty much, it, do fellowships, hang out with people, and with war stories. I have things that I did that I'm just not proud of. You know what I mean? And it's not really appropriate to share right now. But the point is, I was scared to even really talk about it. And so the harms that I caused to other people or to myself. And yeah, so that being said, I I did flunk out of school, and I knew I had a problem. I was, went the whole summer without drinking or doing any drugs or anything like that. And then in 96, and so I was getting kind of desperate. So I had like 3 beers that I got access to, and maybe it was 4 beers, and I drank them. And that was on August 19th, 1996, because that was my last day drinking. And the next day, I agreed to go to a treatment center that my mom had asked me to try. And basically, I was like, okay, whatever, just to get her off my back. So I went there. They asked me if I had a problem with alcohol, and I was like, not really. And just basically, it's like, yeah, well, how are things going? And I was like, okay. And but they're like, but didn't you flunk out of school? Like, and they're being super cool about it, but I just wasn't really into it. And so they could tell that like I they should just back off. So they kind of just did what they're doing, and it's attraction, not promotion. So I just was willing to do what they asked me to do. You know what I mean? They asked me to come back, check out 30 days or whatever meetings, and I started going to meetings, got a sponsor. Just maybe my people pleaser part of me was like willing to do the stuff and do the steps. And eventually I wanted to drink, but didn't know what to do about it. So kind of kept it a secret. And I was 20 at the time. So my sponsor he was just like, well, why don't you just wait till you're 21 and then decide? And I was just like, okay. So that was the end of that. You know what I mean? And it's like I was really keeping it simple. And that maybe that's dumb, but like it worked for me, keep it simple. And I did wait. By the time I turned 21, a few months later, I'd started doing the steps, and I had really been around AA and other meetings enough that I knew that this was real, and I trusted the people here, and I didn't want to drink anymore. So yeah, so basically a pretty important thing happened there. Let's see, did I tell you about my last drink? I should have mentioned that last drink. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Okay. But yeah, going back to what happened right after that was after that conversation with my sponsor. I mean, once I turned 21 was right around the time I started to do my fifth step. Like I started to do my fourth and my fifth step. But I kind of wanted to talk about that. I figure this is one of the first talks in 5D during the month of May. So fifth step, like I'll concentrate on that because whatever, that's what it's a lot of meetings do that at AA. Somehow the month lines up with the step. So the reading did today too, though, in the daily reflections, because I read, that's something I do every day. I have my big book, and I got this at a conference, many years ago. And then I have the daily reflections, and these are both conference approved literature. I read this every day, and I have for many years. I don't remember how many, maybe 15 years. And like the daily reflections was about step 5. So that kind of prompted me on that. And I wrote my inventory and read it. It was my second sponsor. My first sponsor, we didn't even make it to the inventory because I don't know, I felt like he was just using me for rides and stuff. So I was just like, I'm getting a cooler sponsor than this guy. And you know what I mean? You can do that kind of thing. And it's really no big deal. Just get somebody that's going to work for you, And the sponsor was like totally laid back. And I did my fifth step. And I mean, it was being able to tell him things that I thought I would take to the grave, and it was huge. I think I was more willing to do it than a lot of people you hear in sharing meetings where they're just like, having a real hard time getting honest. And once you told me that there was like a payout, a benefit to doing it, I was like, really? Okay, I can do that. I can tell you everything about me if it'll save my butt. And like, so that for some reason, like that's just, I was just into doing this program from the beginning. And yeah, so doing my fifth step, it really did. Like going home that night, I had like a different perspective. Like I had talked to God myself many times, and I was still having a real hard time doing it that way. You know what I mean? Like I had tried like praying or um admitting that I had a problem before with just myself and God, and it was not the same. I was still miserable that way. But when I did the with steps with my sponsor, like it was different. And the I think the community I was in at the time, like, was pretty cool because like when you did your fifth step, people like congratulated you and stuff, like it was a big deal. And so my friends were doing that, and my sponsor, I only kept that sponsor a few more months, and then I got a really cool sponsor. But it really, actually, I have like a few sponsors down the road from that now. And the one that I have now, actually I've had since 99. And so I actually invited him to the meeting, and then I didn't send him the link until like 1 minute before the meeting. Like, so he might not be here because that's just not cool that I did that. But you know, if he is here, his name's Ron, and you should totally call on him. but I don't know. I mean, he's really busy. He's got grandkids and stuff, so he probably didn't. anyway, I'm getting kind of excited. I think it might be time for me to wrap this talk up. Uh, I love this meeting so much. Like I really have been coming here for many years, and it's been huge for my schedule. Is that weird to say? Like it's because it happens later in St. Louis. It's after the in-person meetings were done. I would catch this meeting as like on the back end of my night. And now it's been huge, with the pandemic and everything. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what it's like now. I just try to yeah, I do still do the steps with sponsees mainly, but although I am sponsee less right now, so it's kind of a bummer. I've run the course like I don't have any sponsees, but I do like to do the steps over and over that way, by doing them with my sponsees. And yeah, this program really saved my life. I mean, I can't really say too much about it. I mean, it's there isn't too much that I could say. It's definitely the underlying current of like everything that's good in my life. If I didn't have this, um, nothing else would work out. And my life is amazing today. I do want to mention that, like I didn't give you a ton of examples of that, and all you could see is like these doors behind me and a little room that I'm in. But like I swear, I don't ever lose a wink of sleep. Like I never have trouble. I might have trouble getting out of bed just because I'm tired, but like getting started with what I want to do for the day is like always amazing every day. And um, yeah, just the little things like that are huge. And it's because this family that I have in Alcoholics Anonymous. So thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. That's all I got.